Hello guys, and welcome to Wise Warrior's Path number 2. And I'm just going to be making a quick review on this Morion helmet because the last time when I made my video I just showed like a minute of this and it was very quick, it was very vague, and as well it wasn't sitting on the top of my head properly. It was just kind of sitting like this with the padding kind of the wrong way, so it kind of looked a little funny. But now when I actually put it on my head properly, you can see how low it can actually sit. And you can see where my eyes are on this. Now I can make it higher depending on what the mood of the situation is, whether I am in battle or whether I'm talking to someone or I want to hear things a little better. I can raise this helmet a little bit more upwards. But this helmet has a lot of space on the inside and it does fit snug. So it does come with a little bit of padding and a little bit of leather wrap in the inside where you can adjust it as well so it can fit the size of your head. This helmet, as you can see, it is a little wide on the sides, which is okay, I don't mind that, especially when you put extra padding in, and as well allows for ventilation, as well as the top part, because it's hollow, it allows for ventilation. It keeps air circulating, especially it comes in through the slit right here, and it comes in through the back the same way. Now, that's not the reason why this helmet is shaped this way. Now, for one, you can put extra padding in it. Two, it's a little bit good for ventilation. It keeps your head cool, especially the top of your head, and when you're in combat, you need to keep a cool head. I know it kind of sounds like a cliche, but that's not a joke. It helps not sweating all over the place. Now, this helmet would have been shaped like this so that it can take blows, you see? So when a pike or a spear would have came in, and as well during this time when they would have used these helmets, the Spanish infantry, this would have been around the Renaissance, so they would have used a lot of pikes, they would have used a lot of long spears, a lot of weapons that would have been lengthy and as well would have been very quick. So it would have been good to have just a helmet that you can kind of slightly lower your head and it has a lot of space in the top. Also, when a sword comes in, or an axe or a halberd or a mace, something that's really heavy and it is made to destroy armor like a mace or a halberd, this is going to have a little bit more protection as well with the pike. So when it hits you, as well as this shape right here, it deflects out to the side. So it deflects the blows out to the side. You see, it's not even going to hit my shoulders. It could hit my shoulders if the blow is well coordinated or by a fluke it hits my shoulders, but generally I can kind of deflect it out the side depending on where the blow is coming from. I can see it, and a more experienced soldier as well would have been very in tune with the battlefield. They would have had a lot of experience, so when they would have used these helmets, soldiers who would have been issued these or can afford them, you know, are soldiers who are already trained in light armor, they already know what they're doing, or if they're lucky enough to get this issue, it's a very good beginner's helmet. So you can see it's pretty basic. Like, I don't even got the straps on. I don't want to put the straps on right now, but when it does got the straps on, this thing is absolutely solid. Like, besides that little wiggling part, and sometimes you gotta adjust it a little bit, but it really depends on how you fix the inside. It can fit perfectly snug on your head. It can fit loosely like I have it right now, which is good for kind of like stuff kind of deflecting and kind of moving like that, which is not bad sometimes, especially for arrows. You want something to kind of move a little bit, so you have this kind of loose. And it allows for stuff to ricochet, especially if you get hit with a mace. You don't want this completely tight on your head because the metal will indent into your head. So once again, that's what this shape is good for. Now this part right here, I got it forward, and some people like to wear it backwards, but this is how they would have used it. So if you guys recognize the Greek and the Roman helmets, and as well if you study any of Iberian history, they've always had styles like this where the thing is backwards, not forwards. And forwards, it kind of looks a little bit sleek. It looks a little bit kind of more aerodynamic and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're coming out like that. You know, when you got it backwards like that. But this forward part, in reality, is actually like a design. It's something that's carried out throughout the ages, and as well because the Spanish, they're a Mediterranean as well as the Italians. They've always kept with the whole kind of classical tradition, the whole classical styles, and throughout even the Spanish medieval ages or the Reconquista before the Renaissance, because that's what literally Spain was. It was a renaissance of the Christian culture and as well as regular Iberian culture, because they were dominated for like literally almost 800 years by the Islamic Moors, and it was a frontier time. So they would have still had kind of like the Romanized stuff, the Latin kind of stuff, the stuff that was kind of based towards what they've always used as. So their influence is very greatly revolved around the Greeks and the Romans, and as well as their own style as well. A lot of what the Greeks and the Romans adopted was already used in Iberia. In fact, a lot of the Celtic culture came from Iberia if you actually begin to study it. So Iberia, which is modern day Portugal and Spain, So once again, back to the helmet. This is just a quick review. I'm not making like a big thing out of it. I'm not, you know, making like a huge long video out of this. But very soon I'm going to be reviewing it. I'm going to be doing better things with it, and I'm going to be putting my armor on that you see in the back. And you can see it kind of fills out more to my body. But these helmets, you can actually get them more shorter where they're not this tall, because this one kind of looks a little big on me. And that's also because I'm not built and I don't got my armor on me, which I am pretty muscular. I do got muscles on me. It's just at this moment I'm not buff, you know, a big bodybuilder. But those people back then who would have used these helmets and would have used shields like this and swords and were pikemen, they were generally pretty strong people. Depending on the kind of diets that these soldiers had, generally they're pretty strong, pretty big. They filled out pretty big, and you can see it a lot in the modern descendants of Spaniards are pretty big people. So you would have seen as well in their bones the kind of muscles that they would have had on their bodies and how they would have trained in order to condition themselves to, you know, moderate with these armors and move with them. But this one, when I first put it on my head, I didn't really know how to put it on. You know, like I kind of adjusted the padding a little bit, and now it looks a little better. When I actually ordered this helmet, this one in particular, I ordered. Other ones, other gear that I have been gifts or stuff that I've collected over the years and have bartered with. But this one I specifically ordered online, and there was such a delay, it actually went missing during shipping. So if you ever order stuff online, please be careful with that, because your item may go missing. You know, they may plop it on the doorstep, and you know, you can't, someone picks it up that's not you, and that can be the case. But this one, it's not even supposed to be here right now. In reality, I actually reported this helmet stolen. It was missing. It didn't come to my door, and then suddenly, like 2 weeks later, it comes to my door, and that was a bonus. But still, like, I wouldn't like those delays. I don't like that for the future. So if you ever order online, or if you ever an online service that may watch a video like this, please be aware of that for the future, because it is kind of a headache, especially. So yeah, so that's just that. But this helmet right here, this helmet is it's pretty strong. I don't know how many gauges it is, but it's between 16 and 14, and it's pretty strong. Like you don't feel anything in reality. Like when you hit the head, like those are some pretty hard blows. Like they may not be like boom, you know, because then I would kind of feel like a little bit of rattle. I do feel the impact. I do feel kind of like that concussion kind of blow, where it kind of rattles you and kind of makes everything go just a little bit numb. But I don't feel my head cracking open. And in reality, with the length like this, especially coming on the top, you don't feel it. So when you have like, let's just like a mace or like a spear made a really powerful thrust on the head, you know, it kind of deflects, or you could get knocked out. You could get a concussion. You could get an injury from that. But it's better than your head getting split open. And when you got helmets that are like skull caps, even a sword can make a dent that could be very significant, and you can feel that impact, you know, on the head. So these helmets would have been specifically made. Now this is an evolution, I believe, between the English kettle helmet, because this would have been used by many cultures as well, the kettle helmet, and as well as some Moorish designs. But I could see by these helmets, by the way they look, these helmets are actually carried on by much older styles that have been influenced. So people who tell the history of these things are very vague of the exact origin of this helmet. It just sort of popped up, but I'm sure that's not the case. I'm gonna have to look harder into that. So that's why this is just a quick review, and you can see how it fits on my head right now, and that's what it looks like. So it'll be good for thrust and spear hits and stuff like that. So I don't want to scratch my helmet, or I don't want to wreck my stuff. And I don't know if you see any dents, but I'm sure that you don't see any fresh dents, and if you do, well then yeah, so because I hit myself pretty hard there. If I would have hit myself like that, my head probably would be bleeding a little bit, or I'd probably get like a bruise, or I wouldn't want to do that again. But yeah, so I just tried it out. So it's a pretty solid thing. I recommend, you know, you guys look into these histories. And the reason why I wanted to share this helmet, and as well the Spanish series, the series of the Iberian, and as well the Celts in Iberia and the Goths in Iberia, and just Iberia in general, as well as I share other things, but mainly Iberia, because there's not a lot of history on it. We know history on a whole bunch of different cultures of samurais, French knights, English, longbows and all that. We know quite a bit about the tercios and the Spanish infantry and a little bit of their history, but it's all translated in Spanish. It's in Spanish, and we have to translate it in English. So I don't mind telling that history, guys. So for Wise Warriors Path number 2, I thank you for joining me, and my quality in my video will be upgraded very soon, so you're not going to be getting this audio and video quality like you're getting right now, which is pretty poor, and I do apologize for that. But I do hope that you guys enjoy the information, you guys can see what this fits, how this fits like, and you can see right here that so far it's kind of like an agile helmet. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see that, well, you can see how it works. So I'm not going to become a nerd right now and start, you know, flailing it right now in my room and end up hitting something. But you get the idea of what it looks like, and until next time guys, take care and goodbye.